गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं मवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्त्रमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणान् ब्रह्मणस्पत आनुशृण्वोति विश्वेदसादनम्। ओम महागणाधिपतये नमः। ओम केशवाय नमः, ओम नारायणाय नमः, ओम माधवाय नमः, ओम गोविंदाय नमः, ओम विष्णुवे नमः, मत्सूदनाय नमः, त्रिविक्रमाय नमः, वामनाय नमः, श्रीधराय नमः, ऋषिकेशाय नमः, पद्मनाभाय नमः, दामोदराय नमः, संकर्षणाय नमः, वासुदेवाय नमः, प्रद्युम्नाय नमः, निरुद्धाय नमः, पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः, दोक्षाय नमः, नारसिंहाय नमः, अच्युताय नमः, जनार्दनाय नमः, उपेन्द्राय नमः, हरिये नमः, श्रीकृष्णाय नमः, श्रीकृष्णाय नमः, शंभवे नमः, विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यंबकाय त्रिपुरांतकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकंठाय मृत्युंजयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। हरि ओम हरि ओम। ओम ह्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुंडाय विच्चे। ओम ह्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुंडाय विच्चे। ओम ह्रीं ह्रीं क्लीं चामुंडाय विच्चे। हरि ओम। Dear friends and devotees, we are discussing about Devi Bhagavatham. Sri Mad Devi Bhagavatham is written by Veda Vyasa Maharishi. He has done a great work of writing 18,000 shlokas in 12 books or 12 skandhas. In that Devi Bhagavatham, Veda Vyasa Maharishi is telling himself the Bhagavatam Puranam to Janamejaya, the king of Hastinapura. Hastinapura, Janamejaya became the king after Parikshith Maharaja. Parikshith Maharaja's son is Janamejaya. Janamejaya is asking Veda Vyasa Maharishi, O best of Munis, how did Vishnu of wonderful deeds get his incarnation owing to the curse cast on him by Bhrigu Maharishi? What were his different incarnations in different manvantaras, respectively? Though well versed in religion, O Brahmana, kindly narrate those sin destroying deeds of Hari in his several incarnations. Kindly narrate those sin destroying deeds of Hari in his several incarnations that are the source of happiness, peace, and welfare to all the humanity. Vedavyas Maharishi is answering this to Janamejaya, O king, here I am narrating to you the incarnation of Sri Bhagavan Hari, which he had in the several manvantras and in several yugas respectively. I will tell you now in brief what forms he took and what deeds he did it in the various incarnations. In the Chakshusu Manvantara, the Bhagavan Hari took the incarnation of Dharma, and he had two sons. Of Dharma is Nara Narayana, who are widely celebrated in this world. Nara Narayana is the son of Dharma. Narayana incarnated as of Dharma. Then in the present Vaivasvata Manvantara, under the reign of Vaivasvata Manu, in the second Yuga, Bhagavan Hari incarnated as Dattatreya in the shape of the son of Atri Maharishi. Anusuya, the wife of Atri Maharishi, was desirous to have as her sons the three Devas, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, and in fulfillment of her desires, Trimurtis, Devas took their births in her womb. Anusuya was foremost amongst the chaste and virtuous woman, great Pativrata Nari, Anusuya. As her sons, the three Devas, Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, in fulfillment of her desires, the Devas took birth in her womb. Anusuya was foremost amongst the chaste and virtuous women, and on her praying Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, the Trinity at once agreed to become their sons. Brahma was born as Soma, Hari was born as Dattatreya, Rudra was born as Durvasa Maharishi. In the fourth yuga, the Bhagavan assumed the beautiful double form in one, the upper part resembling a lion and the lower part human, being accomplished the noble purpose of Devas, Narasimha Avatar. It was to kill Hiranyakashipu that the Bhagavan Hari assumed appearance of lion-faced God, wonderful even to Devas. He assumed this appearance to fulfill the desire of killing Hiranyakashipu. In the Treta Yuga, the superior and the best of all the yugas, the Bhagavan incarnated as Vamana, the dwarf, the son of Maharshi Kashyapa, to curb the power of Bali Chakravarti. The dwarf Hari, Vamana, took away by pretext the kingdom of Bali while he was performing a sacrifice, big yajna, and sent him down to the Patala, the lower regions. Afterwards, in the 19th Yuga, known as the Treta Yuga, Sri Bhagavan Hari incarnated as Parashurama, very powerful and son of Jamadagni Maharishi. He was very beautiful and graceful in his body, truthful and a conqueror of his all senses. He extirpated the Kshatriya race and gave the whole world over to the high-minded Rishi Kashyapa. O king, he is the Parashurama, the sin destroyer, the incarnation of Hari, and the doer of the wonderful deeds. After that, Bhagavan Hari incarnated as Rama. After that, the Bhagavan Hari incarnated as Rama, the sons of Dasharatha. Next, in the 28th Dwapara Yuga, he incarnated as the powerful Arjuna and Sri Krishna, the Amsha of Nara and Narayana. To remove the load of the earth, these two were born and they fought deadly battles in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. O king, thus the several incarnation of Vishnu arose according to the requirements of Prakriti. O king, these three worlds are under the control of Prakriti. Whatever the Prakriti wishes at any time, she can fashion the world in that way. And she does this incessantly in accordance with the world divine, the highest Shakti, to please the Purusha without any cessation. In those days, the most ancient Bhagavan, the highest above all the qualities of Maya, formless, all pervading, difficult to be conceived, without any decay, self supporting, without any want, created these worlds, moving and unmoving, and he manifested himself as the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesha, in the shape of the three qualities, Sattva Guna, Rajasika Guna, and Tamasika Guna, and which is called the highest Prakriti. This all auspicious Prakriti shines differently according to the differences in time and circumstances. This threefold Prakriti, the great enchantress of the world, is creating, preserving the worlds, and is destroying them at the end of the kalpas. O King Janamejaya, whenever there takes place the union with this Prakriti, Brahma creates, Vishnu preserves, and all auspicious God Shankara destroys the world in the end. It was she that gave birth to the Kukasta, the best of the kings, and to conquer the Dhanavas, she placed him at a certain place. O king, thus all men controlled by the great law in this world enjoy sometimes the pleasures, enjoy sometimes pains, and thus exist in the world. Here ends the summary of the 16th chapter in the 4th book of Sri Mad Devi Bhagavatham, the Mahapuranam of 18,000 shlokas by Maharishi Veda Vyasa on the birth of the several avatâras of Vishnu and their deeds. Now we came to the chapter 17th on the questions asked by Janamejaya. Janamajaya's questions are, O Muni, you told before that heavenly prostitutes, heavenly Ramba Urvashi sent by Indra in the hermitage of Naranarayana became lustful and desired to live with Narayana only, whose heart was calm and quiet. At that moment, when Narayana was about to curse them, his brother Nara desisted him from taking that step. Now I ask you, what did that triumphant Narayana Muni do in the critical juncture when he was repeatedly asked by these nartakis from heaven, sent by Indra to satisfy their lust? O grandsire, I am very eager to know the deeds of Narayana leading to the one's freedom. Kindly describe in detail and fulfill my wishes. Veda Vyasa Maharishi says, Here, O king, I am describing to you in detail what that high-souled son of Dharma did when Narayana, that is Hari's incarnation, was ready to curse them. The Rishi Nara, seeing this, consoled him and desisted him. Then, because they were all doing tapas, nobody can give a curse when they are doing tapas. The, the tapas benefit will destroy. That's why the Nara requested not to curse these people. Then the great sage, the ascetic son of Dharma, Narayana, leaving aside his anger, began to address them in sweet words with countenance of smiling. O fair woman, we have determined to practice asceticism in this life. It does not therefore behave us to accept any wife. Therefore, show your kindness unto us and go back to your heaven. You would better think that those who know what is religion, they never desire to break the vow of another. O beautiful eyed ones, pleasure, it is the delightful feeling of passionate joy that is requisite, and we are wanting in those feelings. Then how can we affect that union? No action can come out of no cause. This is all clear. The poets say that the power and pleasure is the feeling, the mental attitude that corresponds. That is the only thing that lasts. And we have no desire for that. However, my limbs are very graceful. I am very fortunate and blessed in this world. Otherwise, how can I be the object of your sincere love towards me? You all are very fortunate. Therefore, do now show this mercy unto me and do not break my tapas. I pray now that in a subsequent birth I may become your husband. O large-eyed fair woman, in the 28th Dwapar Yuga, I will certainly incarnate on the earth to effect the purpose of Devas. Then you all also would respectively incarnate as the daughters of the kings and would also become my wives. Narayana thus consented to marry them in some other next birth, and consoling them, and made them to go back to their heavens. They also abandoned their mental disquietude, and on reaching back to heavens, they explained everything to Indra. Indra heard from these heavenly women what the two rishis did and saw before him Urvasi and other women created by Narayana from his thighs, etc., and began to extol the merits of the high-souled Narayana. Indra said, "Oh, how wonderful is the patience of the Muni! What is the wonderful influence of his tapas? Oh, he has created by the sheer force of his tapas, Urvasi, and these fair women, unrivaled for their beauties, from his thighs. The Lord of the Devas thus extolled his merits and become freed from his anxieties. The virtuous Narayana too devoted himself to the practice of his tapasya. O King Janamejaya, thus I have described to you in detail all the wonderful accounts regarding Naranarayana. O superior in the descendants of Bharata, O superior in the descendants of Bharata Vamsha, these two Naranarayana afterwards incarnated themselves due to the Bhrugu's curse as the two great heroes, Arjuna and Krishna, to relieve the burden of the earth. The king Janamejaya asked, O respect giving Muni, now describe in detail the life of the Avatara of Krishna and dispel my mental doubt. O best of the Munis, why were Vasudeva and Devaki, who were chosen by the very powerful Hari and Ananta as their parents, doomed to so many miseries and afflictions? Why had these parents to remain for good many years in the prison of Kamsa, who pleased directly by their tapasya that Bhagavan Janardana? Why did Krishna taking his birth at Mathura and go to Gokula? Also, what was his object to go to Devaka, situated in the ocean? Dwaraka. Also, what was his object to go to Dwaraka, situated in the ocean, when he killed the enemy of Kamsa? Also, why did his father, mother, relatives leave their old holy places of residences and go abroad to live in a wretched old country? Why was the Yadu Vamsha race destroyed by the curse of from a Brahmana? How did Sri Krishna Vasudeva leave finally his body after he had relieved the burden of the earth and was about to enter into his heaven? The evildoers of the earth were slain by Krishna and Arjuna of unqualified prowess. But how was it that those who plunder the wives of Sri Hari were not at all punished by him? The great personages of Bhishma, Drona, Karna, the king Valika, Vrata, Vikrama, Drishtadyumna, the king of Somadatta, were destroyed by relieving the burden of the earth, and the plunderers were acquitted. Kindly explain the cause of this. How was it those chaste and virtuous wives of Sri Krishna go into troubles at the later end of their lives? There has there has arisen a doubt in my mind on this point. Why did the virtuous Vasudeva leave his mortal coil owing to the death of his sons? And why did he die an unusual death? O best of Muni, the Pandavas were devoted to Krishna and they were religious. And dharmas, following the dharma, they had to suffer so many troubles. Why was Draupadi so very unfortunate and she had to suffer so many miseries and pains, who was born of Lakshmi from amidst the sacrificial place and from the altar? Why did Dushasana drag her by her hairs while she was in her menstruation period in the hall of the audience of Kaurava? And why was it that Sindhu Raja, Jayadratha, the king of Sindhu, gave her exceedingly mental troubles? Why was it that her 5 sons residing in her house were killed by Ashwatthama? What was this cause? That the son of Subhadra had to die in the battlefield? Why did the king Kamsa kill the 6 sons of Devaki And why was it that Sri Hari, who was capable of averting the fate, did not at all prevent that? What a wonder is that in the matters of Brahmana's curse towards the Yadavas, their being killed in Pravasa Kshetra, the total extermination of the Yadava race and the plundering of his wives, and why did he allow fate to do these great momentous things? If he was that powerful, all-powerful God, he himself Narayana, that why did he incessantly act like a slave towards the Ugrasena? Ugrasena was the king of Mathura and the father of Kamsa. He was disposed by his son, but Krishna, after having slain Kamsa, restored Ugrasena's throne back to him. All these bring about doubt in my minds, in our minds, regarding Narayana Muni, that his deeds are always like those of ordinary persons. Why did his pleasures and pains resemble those of ordinary human beings? Was he God? Why his actions were not godly, that is, superhuman? Therefore, dost thou describe in detail all the divine leelas, playful sports done by Hari of superhuman powers in his world. Best of Munis, when one's longevity expires, one dies. Then I cannot understand what glory was manifested by Hari in killing the Daityas. For fate killed them, not Hari. Was not the doing of Hari like a thief when he stole away the Lady Rukmini and fled quickly to his own palace? What did it mean when he fled to Dwaraka city and quitted his own highly prosperous town Mathura simply out of the fear of Jarasandha? Did not anybody at that time recognize that he was Sri Bhagavan Hari? O respected one, were he Bhagavan, why did he hide himself in Vraja? Please explain the cause to me. O Muni, these and many other doubts always exist in my mind. You are the best of the Dvijas and blessed one. I pray you to remove my doubts. O best of Munis, another doubt exists and is not dispelled, and that is secret. Was not the taking of the 5 husbands by Panchali, that is Draupadi, for herself shameful and despised by the society? The good manners and doings are always considered by the learned as the proofs of my virtue. Why did those Pandavas, then capable in every respect, do this thing like brutes? And what did Bhishma do living like a deva in this world? May I ask, was this act of producing 2 sons by a widow and thus preserving his line of ancestors worthy of his name? The religious sanction advocated by the Munis procreate sons in any way whatsoever is simply shameful. Fie to this religious sanction. Here ends the 17th chapter in the 4th books of Sri Mad Devi Bhagavatham of 18,000 shlokas by Maharishi Veda Vyasa on the questions asked by Janamejaya. These are the questions asked by Janamejaya in the next chapter, 18th chapter, on the Devi's earth going to the heavens. So we are going to the next chapter the next time when I start doing this pravachan.